Hi, I'm Ksenia Yasnova, Public Relations Specialist of the company RosCo. The legislation provides for liability the violation of migration rules. What violation can cost a migration or his employer dearly? Can the court reduce the amount of the fine? Stay tuned and you'll find out. One of the forms of state control of foreigners is migration registration. For violation of migration rules, the violator faces an administrative fine. Moreover, both the employer and the foreigner himself can also be punished. Let's consider the top 6 violations in the field of migration law.
Violation by a foreigner of the rules of entry into Russia or the regime of stay in it.
A foreigner who has a residence permit must submit a notification to the territorial subdivision of the Ministry of Internal Affairs to confirm his residence within 2 months. A foreigner must also comply with the regime of stay in Russia. Such violation is fraught with fines from 2 to 5,000 rubles. At the same time, a foreigner can be fined and expelled from Russia. If a violation is detected in Moscow, St. Petersburg or their regions, then the amount of the fine is from 5 to 7,000 rubles. When imposing punishment, the personality of the offender, his confession of guilt, the presence of dependent young children are taken into account. An aggravating circumstance is the repeated commission of the same violation.
Violation of the rules for the stay of foreigners in Russia.
Violations of the rules of stay can cost the employer very dearly, from 400 to 500,000 rubles. For example, the employer, as the host of a foreigner, must notify the territorial division of the Ministry of Internal Affairs within 3 days of changing the period of a foreigner's stay. In judicial practice, there are also cases concerning the punishment of the employer for the fact that he, when dismissed a foreign shift worker, did not notify him of his departure.
Illegal employment by a foreigner in Russia.
Foreigners can be fined for working in Russia without a patent or work permit. They can also be fined if a foreigner works outside the subject of the Russian Federation, on the territory of which he has issued a patent or work permit. The amount of the fine is from 200 to 500 rubles, and for federal cities from 5 to 700 rubles.
Illegal involvement of a foreigner in labor activity in Russia.
As a rule, the violation consists in the ultimate dismissal of a foreigner. For example, if a foreigner has expired or cancelled a patent or work permit. The fine for legal entities ranges from 250 to 800,000 rubles or suspension of activities for up to 90 days. In court, businessmen are trying to prove that they did not check documents when applying for a job. The employment of a foreigner by oral agreement with a businessman can cost the latter a fine of 125,000 rubles.
Violation by a foreigner of the term for applying for a patent.
As a general rule, a foreigner must apply for a patent within 30 calendar days from the date of entry into Russia. If you miss this period, then he can be fined from 10,000 to 15,000 rubles.
Submission of false information during migration registration.
The employer faces a fine for sending false information about a foreigner or forged documents to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. For example, the employer incorrectly indicated the place of stay of a foreigner. The fine for a company can range from 350,000 to 800,000 rubles, and for individual entrepreneurs from 35,000 to 50,000 rubles. I'm glad you watched the video till the end. I'm Ksenia Yasnova. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment and RosCo specialists will kindly answer them. And of course, subscribe to our channel where you'll find loads of useful information, not only for your business, but also for yourself. Stay in touch, stay with RosCo.